can't forget that, some class I had in economics. It's not a class in economics. It's take your shit and go live in the street. The fear thing I only discovered after the bottom fell out. And now I would tell you there's nothing to fear but fear itself. That's the truest reality that I can give you, that for me, fear has left. Fear has gone. But then again, I would tell you in a spiritual way, I believe that you build your own protection. That being godly assists you in your own protection. That there is another force around that's helping you. Certainly, I'm sure of that.
Well, what if I was to be the devil's advocate? You know, I'm gonna sit here and tell you that that's bullshit. Here's why, Scott. I'm gonna tell you it's bullshit because the bank that was coming after you for your house, the people that you had to pay back, they don't see the spirit around you or God around you to help you get out of debt and to help you do what you had to do and to stop your fear. Fear doesn't know. That little subconscious mind in the back of your cerebellum doesn't know that God and your spirituality is going to fight fear off.
No. At that time, I was as fearful as they get during that experience. In hindsight, Mr. Devil's Advocate, and I love you guys. You guys are my favorite. You're missing one thing, and that's faith. And I won't tell you faith in what, that's up to you, but faith. Looking back on the fearful times, I think, I'm having a hard time putting it together. I think for me, the fear left when I realized that the bank chasing me, the losing of the house, by the way, the wife who stuck with me was also in this episode for a reason. So all those things were happening. I was a hard study. I did one semester in college and left because I called my dad and I said, I know everything they're teaching me. I don't need to be here. So the only way someone like that learns, you have to take his house, you have to take his business, you have to get his attention. So the banker, the guy taking my house, all of them were working to get my attention. And where I am now, and that education-wise, value of who I am and how I understand what I learned, I value more than people I meet. The education I took was pure. Sometimes it cost blood. But if you live through it, and I mean if you live through it, because people opt out, and thank God I didn't opt out, but if you live through it, that education, I can't put that out of my head. I can't forget that, some class I had in economics. It's not a class in economics. It's take your shit and go live in the street. That's not, I was there on a Wednesday and he was a good teacher. He got my attention and I understood how you go broke. That's real life education. Guess what? I promised myself I owed my family better. I knew that I could do better, and I was devastated with embarrassment. I think I was virtually non-existent. I was this big. You know, I was nothing, but that education apparently was the proper school for me. It was the proper school. And when you go through the life, you may say, that's be the devil's advocate. All that shit happened to me. I brought all that shit upon me. I directly asked for it. I ran amok. I did whatever I wanted to. I disrespected laws, spiritual and otherwise. That's what happens. That'll happen every time. I'm convinced of it. And if you turn it around, and if you decide that you need to be the best you could be, there's also laws for that. There's laws of abundance. Keep reading the book. There's laws that will deliver you. By the way, just as sure as they came and threw me out of my house, they will come and help you. Just because it's a dark situation doesn't mean it's not help. Nothing could have turned me around but what turned me around.